Hello, viewers. Good evening once more. Good morning and good afternoon, depending on where you're watching from. Thank you for joining me once more on Blockchain4All. And today is an awesome and exciting day for us here at the studio to have one of our wonderful speaker. Today we'll be talking about security. It's very important, and we are lucky to have one of our resource person, which is an expert in cyber security, and he'll be helping us understand what security is all about on the blockchain, off blockchain, and everything we have been using from applications and other use cases, technologies that have been around. He will be able to explain the values you can be able to derive from having a good security mindset. Blockchain for All, as we have all known, is a sponsored program that helps an average viewer or Nigerian to understand the technologies behind blockchain, its use cases, and its importance to our daily lives. Blockchain for All is sponsored by Bconta, Fast Track Wealth Academy, VHIPA, and 7100 Prints Limited. This program is fully sponsored and is free for everyone to join. You can kindly share this link to your friends on WhatsApp, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and YouTube. We are streaming on all those channels live as I speak now, so you'll be able to invite all your friends from those platforms. All right, today we have a guest in our midst, and he's a cybersecurity expert. He's a certified ethical hacker. He has worked with a lot of companies which are able to actually know some of them here in Nigeria. He has been able to work with teams. He worked, I think, with one of a top leading cybersecurity here in Abuja. He has worked with teams to sensitize youths and digital natives about the importance of security. I think one of their work was you should not fall MAGA or no go for MAGA or something like that. So I have been following up on the events, and he's an awesome person, someone that have been in the cyber space for more than 7 to 8 years. So we believe today he's going to help us understand the importance of security in blockchain, the security issues that we actually face in blockchain. So he'll be able to explain why we need to be security conscious, why we need to be security aware of applications we use, platforms we use, understand how to work with passwords and what have you. Joining me today is Mr. Yusuf Austine, and he will be talking about security. But before then, I want everyone to share this link to as much many people as you can share to show that we'll be able to derive the full benefit of this class today. So kindly share this link. If you're on Facebook, just click on share. If you're on YouTube, click on share, and you can share the live session so that our friends will be able to join. So I'll also ensure I try to share to other groups on WhatsApp. I know some people are actually watching football now, but we'll try and see how everybody get access to the program. Um, Good evening, Mr. Yusuf.
Hey,
Thank
Mr.
you for
Jacob, good evening.
thank you for taking our time to join us in the studio today. Um, it's really a privilege for me to actually have someone like you here because of I know how tight your schedules are. But we want to really appreciate your timely, um, I think, love that you have for us to actually join us in this program. For a quick one, you will just do an introduction of yourself, and what you will be talking about for
Hello.
today
I think
before we
I
proceed.
think his network is a bit bad. Hopefully, he gets back online.
Hello, Mr. Yusuf. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. And I think you went offline for some time.
Yes, I think yes. All right. So thank you very much, Mr. Yusuf, for joining us. You just do a quick introduction of yourself and what we'll be looking at today regarding your topic that has to do with security that we see in blockchain architecture and use cases.
Okay, good evening, everybody. It's nice joining everybody around the world for this session. And Mr. Jaffe, thank you for giving me this platform to enlighten everyone on blockchain and security, most especially. So, my name is Austin Yusuf. I'm a cybersecurity analyst. Also, I've worked in the fintech industry I could speak to different aspect of blockchain. So, first of all, we all know what blockchain is, and a lot of people are already using the blockchain technology. A lot of us are now into cryptos. Crypto is actually giving that financial freedom to a lot of Nigerian youths because from my research, Nigeria is the third highest trader of crypto in the crypto market. So it's really a huge market that Nigerian youth are now taking advantage of. Although we're having some issues with the Nigerian government saying that we are not allowed to trade crypto. But let me quickly move to the topic of today, blockchain security. Like if you're looking at any web application, first of all you have to look at what it entails, what you need to check for the security let's say profile that you need to put in place to get it right. So for blockchain security, I'm going to define it to be a comprehensive risk management system that is used for blockchain network using different type of cybersecurity frameworks, assurance services, and best practices to reduce the risk against attacks and most especially fraud. Because when you hear finance, the next thing is fraud because these cyber criminals are always out there to do what they know how to do best. And I'm trying to use the basic word so that everybody on this session today can understand what we're talking about. Now, when we're talking about can you hear me? Okay. Sorry, that I think that was my network. So, when you're talking of cybersecurity framework, for financial industry in Nigeria, we have frameworks that speak to how financial houses should handle user data. We have NDPR, which is same as the GDPR for the European. For the Europeans, NDPR means Nigerian Data Protection Regulation. So, we also have the NIST framework that will help you into like asset classification. That is for financial houses that deals on crypto, just like we have Beconta, which is one of the foremost platform that have been bringing a lot of innovation into crypto market in Nigeria. So aside that, I'll quickly move ahead. Now, blockchain security, because we know that blockchain technology produces a structure of data with inherent security qualities because it's based on principle of cryptography, decentralized and consensus. Because blockchain technology actually entails high level of data, it collects a lot of data, and it's also it's decentralized. And one of the features that interest everybody is that anonymity because of the strong cryptography that is in place. And they also help that the integrity of every transaction should be trusted. So in blockchain, as blockchain is a new technology, we have seen that the more we advance in technology, the more new attack threat landscape start coming up and they become more sophisticated. Now, we have the major type of blockchains we have. We have both public and private blockchains. And most of us, which you know that most of our cryptos, especially all the NFTs, run on public and public blockchain. Let's take for example, like I know a lot of people owns Trust Wallet that made it open for everybody to come on board and even add anything to it. Those are some of the public frameworks, public blockchains that actually that actually we most of us use. Then we have the private ones that actually is very secured. Now, for you to get access to it, you have to they have to verify your business name before you can use that particular private blockchain. So they are restricted and usually limited to business networks. A singular entity or consortium controls a particular membership. Then we have other type of blockchain, which is the permissionless blockchain that has no restrictions on processors. That is people that processes this crypto. That is the permission blockchains, which are limited to selected set of users who are granted identity using certificates. And I think the permission blockchains actually work with the private blockchain because they work hand in hand. It actually increases the level of security because it does not allow individuals to just go into that space like how the public blockchain allows us to enter. Now, quickly, I'll be telling you one of the major issues that I've understood it over time. I think people that these are blockchain traders, I mean cryptocurrency traders need to enlighten their users more. If you notice, let me use Nigeria for example. Banks always send out that don't give certain credentials out, that your bank will never contact you for anything as it concerns your bank details. Now, I think crypto traders need to do a lot of that because cryptocurrency is heavily dependent on the blockchain technology. So I think they need to do more of user awareness because users are still being tricked either by sending them malicious URL to click and they get compromised. And before you know, they'll get hacked and they'll lose all their finances. So one of the things I would like to speak on today, and I think is common with every web application, is code exploitation. Code exploitation. Now, over time, hackers have been able to analyze code to look at the vulnerabilities that they can find and exploit. Now, this is always possible because you might think that the technology you invented today is so secure that nobody can break in. I remember a few years back, if they tell people that LinkedIn will be hacked, but people will not believe because LinkedIn is so secure. But when you go to find out years down the line, they were compromised, and there were other strong financial houses that were compromised, including in Nigeria. Just that we don't normally disclose some of the breach that we have in our Nigerian banks, and even some part of Africa. I believe the same thing over there. The code exploitation, because blockchain technology is a decentralized autonomous technology, so it allows people to have access to it directly. Now, with that, what I mean is that people could actually go to their to a large extent to access it and to look at the vulnerabilities that they can find or the type of problem modules that's been integrated into that particular platform, and they'll be exploited. Let's take, for example, a crypto trader who owns a platform that is heavily dependent on the blockchain technology. The blockchain technology might not be vulnerable, but the platform which is being built on, because you have to, some people use web application, like let's say, for example, I have this thing like cryptocurrency4all.com, and you can go to cryptocurrency.com and trade any of your cryptocurrencies. Now, I have to set up a website for that. Now, that particular website can be exploited. It is always possible to exploit those things. And at times, it might not be the fault of the company, particular platform. Recently, I was checking, I saw what they call a search engine optimization attack, where an attacker we kind of create a copy of same website that is legitimate, And with the SEO, that is the search engine optimization poisoning, they will be able to push the fake website on top when you do a Google search for that particular website. Now, an unknowing victim will just go there and click on the fake website. And what they normally do is that, yes, you actually log in, put in your credentials, and what happened next? And what happened next? They can actually access every of your credentials in plain text. And what they do is that they now do a URL redirect to the original website. Now, a lot of people has been victim of this in Nigeria because we don't always check certain things in the website we access it. There's always spelling checks that
Okay, I think a speaker is having a little bit of network issue, but he will still join us back. So thank you very much, Mr. Yusuf, for okay.
yeah,
Okay,
I think
okay, yes, can hear you now.
okay. So for the code exploitation aspect, I think crypto trading platforms need to do well to invest more on the security of the platform. Not only setting up a platform, but to make sure that the code is well reviewed. Get the web application testers that will check every of your architecture to see that it is secured before you expose it to the public. A lot of people don't do user acceptance test. They don't even do any form of test like penetration testing on this. They just feel like, okay, this particular web application is working, and they just go live without even do any proper check. So I think this way it has made blockchain be vulnerable because of the third party application that is being run to use this particular technology. Then one major thing again is the issue of stolen keys. The issue of stolen keys. Now a lot of people don't always know that in Nigeria, a lot of people always see that they will tell you that come online, they are doing a giveaway. I remember sometimes last year, people came online and they were requesting for people that people should use their wallet. And after that, they said certain set of people has won a particular amount of cryptocurrency that they should drop a particular secret keys, which is personal to every user account. Now, that particular key is being issued to you from the blockchain technology. Now, what happened when a person, when an anonymous user get access to that particular key, they can actually use it to access your account and wipe out everything. It's just like your identity that tells the blockchain technology that yes, this is the legitimate user of this account, and they grant access to that user to your account. So a lot of people are always vulnerable to this issue of giveaway. A lot of people don't even know where they drop their particular wallet or certain personal information. I always tell people that why do you need to drop your personal identifiable information when you don't know how it's going to be processed? I do tell people when you walk into any organization and they ask you to fill certain information that involves is that what you are going there for, is the information they are requesting for necessary? How are they going to process it? Am I safe? Because I remember sometimes the federal government agency pasted user account details to BVN. And what these attackers really need to do is just to go there, get the details of what they need, and they were able to send username a URL to these users and ask them to fill certain things. And before you know, a lot of people's account was wiped out. It's also the same in the blockchain technology. People are always online waiting for people they can prey on to get this particular key. Like, okay, let me cite an example. There was a time over 73 million USD worth of crypto was stolen from a Hong Kong based cryptocurrency exchange company. I think the name was let me quickly remember. I think that was BTFinex. Yeah, BTFinex of Hong Kong. Yeah, about 73 million USD worth of crypto was stolen through their platform because a lot of users' keys were compromised. And before you know, they were able to do lateral movement and get into that user's account because it's actually an internal type of the company that they compromised the key, and from there the person was able to do access other users' account because the person was actually an admin on that platform, and about 73 million USD was made away with. That is a lot of crypto. So what am I saying? A lot of people can be vulnerable and they don't even know who is coming after them. So we always need to double check and the URL we click on and where we put our personal information to avoid our personal keys being stolen. Then the next one is another common tactic that they use: employee computer being hacked. Like I just said just now, how many people review the security of their personal devices they use in the office? Let's take, for example, company A was able to invest about 1 billion USD on cybersecurity solution. Now, let me tell you, there is this popular code, a cybersecurity code. They say that there's always patch for every vulnerability, but there's no patch for human stupidity when it comes to being greedy to get certain things. Now, for every device that you use in your organization, there should be a quarterly review of the device you use. What do I mean? Fine, you have antivirus. It's going to protect you. You have an EDR, endpoint detection and protection. Yes, it's going to give you a certain level of defense. But once there is a vulnerability that is being actively exploited in the wild, what do? That is where patch management is for me. A lot of people don't run audit checks on the endpoint that is connected to their network. A lot of people just let every device is just connect. They don't even do that. They have a network access control in place to at least checkmate the type of devices that actually connect to their network. Now, employee computer can be hacked. Yes, employee computer can be hacked. And once one computer on your internal network has been hacked, they can leverage on that particular device and do what they call privilege escalation. Now, if the person that the system was compromised is probably a secretary of the company, then they need certain access to access certain form of information. So what they need to do is just to look for a way to escalate their privilege. Of course, which you know that there are a lot of tools that can help these bad guys escalate their privilege to any level they want, even down to the admin level. And before you know, they can access any amount of information they need to access. Let's say in the issue exchange platform that was hacked, over 30,000 user credentials. I mean, PII recognized, like, about, imagine a hacker getting into a particular network and was able to compromise 30,000 user accounts. And I think that attack actually resulted into 870 worth of 870,000 USD worth of Bitcoin. And that is a huge sum because that means also almost getting into $1 billion. So we need to invest in as much as security is expensive. but there are basic checks you still to put in place, like how the vulnerabilities that is currently being exploited. You should know that when there is patch, you should make sure you always patch your endpoint. Make sure the type of third-party software that is being installed on every employee's devices is being checkmate for you to know that okay, is they got that particular third-party software from a very reliable source. That's one of the things again that can actually um, aid hackers to get into a particular system. There's what they call watching hole attack. Let's say Mr. Jaffet, which is our host today, you own a company, and I'm a smaller company that offer service to Mr. Jaffet. Now, connect to his network to provide the services. So what do I need to do? Since I can't get to Mr. Jaffet's company, which is Mr. A, what I need to do, the attacker will be wise enough because I'm a smaller company. I don't have the such robust security that Mr. Jaffet has. So what they will need to do is they will use me as a point of call to Mr. Jaffet. So they will get one of my staff compromised and use it to launch an attack against Mr. Jaffet's company. Why? Because he is open to me, because I'm connected to the network directly. Because a lot of companies, from what I know, is they normally have site-to-site VPN with their third-party vendors. So that employee that has been hacked is a thing that always happens, especially in this era of automated attack that we have now. The other things that can happen, we have the phishing attacks. This is one of the easiest way attackers can use to get to users. You know, phishing attack is a form of scamming that attempt to steal user credentials, either by sending you a phishing mail that is a malicious mail that is asking you to click on a particular link, and you should put in your credentials, or it will ask you to change your password. And when you try to change your password, automatically your credentials get compromised, and the attackers have access to those credentials. And also, there's another one that is also being used. They call it phishing, where the attacker actually make a phone call to you that's from the company that that they're actually calling to check on you, that you should provide it. I know it's common in Nigeria, where people are being told that say that they want something, or they send them a text that they should call a particular person. That is a form of phishing attack. I remember in early 2012, a lot of people fall victim of it because they so believed it, and they end up giving them their credential. But with the rise of Logo Formaga and other platforms, you see that because of the user awareness we're raising in the community, what to check, we have been able to combat this. Now, security awareness is one thing that you can't overlook. It's the cheapest form of defense for security, but the most expensive. Now, let me tell you one thing: no matter the amount of money you invest in cybersecurity solution, if your staff are not well trained, attackers will always get into the environment, because these phishing attacks always have a way of escaping even your email security solution. Because what they're now doing now is that they actually get a registered domain. Those days where you have your SPF rule or DMARC rule blocking those fake domains. Now they now register a legitimate domain and send those phishing links, because they can get a domain as low as $50, and one attack they can make as much as $1 million US dollars. Yes, so they are ready to invest little money to get more. So user awareness cannot be overemphasized in every organization. And moving from there, for phishing attack, another thing is also routing attacks. Now, trying to explain this in a very simple plain text. Blockchain rely on real-time large data transfers. Hackers can intercept data as it's transferred to internet service providers. In the routing attack, blockchain confidential data or currencies. Now, what they do is that when during your transactions, what they do is that they actually try to perform what they call man in the middle attack. So they will be able to intercept the traffic, and before your traffic can go on, then they can probably extract some details that they need from that particular traffic. Even though because the blockchain technology is so secure, they won't be able to manipulate that particular traffic that they capture. So what they do is that they can only copy out those details that they want, or data currencies, and use it personally on their own platform, and which one way or the other they have access to your attack. And now this is called a routing attack because they actually have access to it. Or what they do most times is, if they can capture those data or currencies, they call it currencies. It's not number web applications. So what they can extract confidential data or currencies, they can even manipulate it and pass it along, probably change the wallet address to theirs, and the money that you're sending get credited to them. Then another form of attack, they call it civil attack. Civil attacks, sorry, civil attacks. In civil attacks, and a hacker creates and use many false network identities for the network and crash the system. Sybil refers to a famous book character that knows with multiple identities. This was actually named after a particular person. The person is a famous book character. The person have multiple identity disorder. Now, these guys can also be able to do that. In the normal web application, we call it DDoS, that is distributed denial of service attack. But in the blockchain technology, it is called a civil attack. So because they can't get access to what they want to do is to disrupt this. And in blockchain technology, they allow multiple identities to be created. So because of this, it's one of the security flaws in the architecture, and attackers are actively exploiting this, most especially the one that is based on the public blockchain. Then I'm moving to another attack. This one is very funny because they call it 51% attack. 51% attack. Understand how blockchain works. You know, a lot of people always say they are mining, they are mining, they are mining. Because all of us, you and I know that mining a particular crypto involves huge amount of computing powers, especially for large-scale public blockchains. Now, this always work for public blockchain. I know a lot of listeners on this session today, many of us are mining Pi. Now, that's what you're doing. Now, why they need to mine Pi is because they need to contribute part of your computing resources, your computing power, to enhance that particular cryptocurrency. Now, what happens when a particular attacker is able to farm a large amount of computing power? Now, let me tell you how they normally do it. Now, attackers tend to compromise millions of servers all over the world. Now, what they want to do is that if you can get 50% of the mining power of any particular blockchain network, what that means is that having more than 50% of the power means having control over the ledger and the ability to manipulate it. So they believe that you are one of the major contributors. So you now have access to the ledger and you'll be able to manipulate it, because why? The ledger is now open to you. Now, so when you have about 50% of that particular computing power, you have access to the ledger and you can manipulate it. This also happened in public blockchains, right? That's why the new cryptocurrencies are now moving into private, and some people are even operating hybrid as well. So most of the keys is based on, or the computing power will be left in the public space, but the keys and the ledger will be kept in the private aspect of the blockchain. So now, that is another issue we have with the blockchain technology that attackers are exploiting as well. Because once you have such computing power, of course, yes, you can get access to the ledger. I know a lot of servers, open servers, you can search with the port that is running, and you can see a lot of servers that they can easily compromise. I can tell you for the fact that a lot of people in banks are still running obsolete, it's no longer being supported. And what does that mean? Even if the server can, even if the attacker cannot get into that particular bank's network trust me, the A will be able to compromise that server, secure it so that other attackers will not get access to it. And what does that mean? That means he's having extra computing power. He's using the particular organization server that is compromised, using the organization power, the network bandwidth, and also light, electricity to mine that particular business. So this is also being exploited. 51% attack. Attack is what they call it. Now, moving away from the attack, let's look at what can be implemented blockchain security for the enterprise. When building an enterprise blockchain application, it is important to consider security at all layers of it. Listening to that particular aspect are the technology stack, every aspect of it, from the user interface, from the back end of how it's been accessed. Now, one of the things you should be looking at when you are implementing security in every stack, you should be looking at identity and access management. Identity and access management. That is a very particular thing. Let me say, I'm a user. I want to transact on Bekunda. I'm not an admin, so I only need to have access to my account. So the level of privilege I need to have to identify me to have access to my account is what I will be giving. Now, we might have even employees internally. That should also be defined, because access should be given based on need. That's why I always tell people to operate the zero trust privilege in the identity access management. That is using the least privilege access, where users only get access to what they need to know. You can't give the same access you're giving to a secretary to an IT administrator. And even the IT administrator should still have limited level of access, so that it can be checked per time. Then we also have the key management, like the storing key I discussed earlier. We also need to put that in place, how the keys is being managed, the level of encryption for the keys that are being stored. Are they properly being stored? Is the particular place where it's being stored, is it accessible on the internet? Where does it need to be exposed to the that should be checked. The data privacy is a thing, because a lot of companies are now having, even if they can't even steal any money, what they only need to do is to get access to your user data and they expose it. Now, what they need to do, you've lost integrity, you've lost a lot of this. So data privacy should be a thing for every blockchain company when they're planning their security for blockchain. Moving away from there, secure communication. The secure socket layer, is it well implemented? Is the data in transit protected? Is the data stored? Data address, is it protected? So secure communication should be a thing. And I also recommend smart contract security and also transaction endorsements. So those are the things that organization should need to implement at every stack of the blockchain technology that they are making use of. Now, moving away from there, I'll be talking of blockchain security tips and best practices. Now, when designing a blockchain solution, consider this key question. Now, I'm talking to every crypto exchange company on this session. Now, you need to ask these questions. What is the governance model for participating organization members? What data will be captured in each block? What are the relevant regulatory requirements and how can they be met? Now, if you're in America, you know HIPAA, you know this framework. In Nigeria, you know NDPR. You know you must follow the cybersecurity framework issued by CBN, which is the eighth bank in Nigeria that controls every other for the European Union side. So now, how are the details of identity being managed? I've discussed that in the identity management problem when you're implementing it. Then, are blocks payload encrypted? Are the keys managed and properly revoked? Those are the questions you should ask. Then what is the disaster recovery plan for blockchain participants? Probably if there is a breach, how do you intend to recover fast? How do you intend to recover fast? Then what is the minimal security posture for blockchain clients for participation? Meaning you should discuss your security baseline. Yes, discuss the security baseline you should be implementing. Make sure that there's enough security that is also user friendly. Security and user friendliness do not go in line, because the more you implement,
Okay, Mr. Yusuf, you need to switch on your mic. I think it's mute.
okay, so I'm back. Sorry for the network challenges that is coming up. So governance risk emanate primarily from blockchain solution because it is decentralized and they require strong controls and decision criteria, governing policies, identity management in the blockchain space. So basically, I think those are the things that you need to look at when you are setting up your probably, let me just use the normal word that everybody know, cryptocurrency exchange company in any part of the world, and make sure that you enforce security controls that are unique to blockchain, because what you know use in normal the normal web does not will not might not be applicable to the blockchain technology. Apply conventional security controls like use of your firewall, your perimeter firewalls, your web application firewalls. Use apply conventional security controls. Then enforce business controls as well for blockchains. Yes, business control cannot be overemphasized. So without boring you with much of my talk, I think people are going to enjoy this session from the question and answer aspect, and most especially for everybody that have platforms that is running cryptocurrency exchange. I think we should look at implementing MFA. Password and username is no longer enough. MFA should be enforced on all cryptocurrency platforms. Not even that, I think you should also apply that to all your financial app. I still notice that a lot of people that use their banking app does not have MFA on them. That makes it easier for attackers to actually take over anybody's account. And now let me tell you, let me use Nigeria for example. It is very easy to take over anybody's bank account that doesn't have MFA on the app. What do I need to do? Now there's a giveaway on Twitter. I can just come on Twitter and say, okay, I'm giving out certain amount of money. What do I need to do? Okay, um, please put your primary phone number that I can reach out to you on. And you see everybody start dropping their particular phone number. So what do I need to do to get to set up a banking app for you? Very easy. Let's say I'm using let's say Savannah Bank. I will just go and download the app. So majorly what they request for is for your phone number to set it up the first time. So what do I need to do? And that's why it's OTP code. Now what they are trying to do is that they are trying to actually force reset your app. Now when you give them that OTP, they set up a new app for you and the original user get kicked out. So what they normally do is that for them to maintain the access on your app, they tend to set MFA on it. And at that particular period, they can transfer any amount of money they have. Like, I'll tell you a scenario of a customer that that same thing happened to. Now, what the attacker did was to wait until Friday when banks have closed for business for the week. Now, the unsuspecting person, victim, actually sent the OTP code to the person. Now, there is no way they will call the person, if not for the advent of the USSD code to block all transaction channels now, which is available for almost all the banks now. As of then, those codes are not available. And even now, a lot of people are not even aware that there are code that you can use to block transactions on your account when you suspect something. So what they did was they actually set up the app for the person. Now, they noticed that the person do more than 50k transaction in a day, no, about 300k transaction in a day. So what they did was to increase the particular person's transfer limit, and they were able to transfer money within 11:55, and they have access to transfer another huge amount of money the following day. So MFA is a must for everybody on this call. You know, one beautiful thing about blockchain that people are always happy about is the anonymity it grants to every user. People believe that people cannot be traced, but let me tell you, transactions can be traced. Yes, transactions can be traced. Now, let me tell you, I don't believe when they tell you that certain things does not keep traces. Now, let me tell everybody, everything you do online have digital footprint, and that digital footprint can be traced to users. Now, except you have a very high level of anonymity soft applications that can grant you that anonymity, I don't always advise people to just throw out their information on every platform. Though blockchain is still secure, but with all these security issues, there are still things to look into, even with the advent of Web3. Now I have to give it to the Cyber Plural group. Sorry, this is not a promotion from them, but I have to give it to them because I think there was a blog that they did on a blog post that they did on a particular um attack that happened. Like, it was so explicit, and I think it's a read for everybody, where they explain what they call Bitcoin flashing. I don't know, permit me to quickly share my screen to show you part of how it actually happened. I will quickly share my screen for you to see. Um, okay. Uh, okay, yeah, I'm sharing my screen now. Now, I don't know, everybody, if you can see my screen. Now, let me tell you, before the advent of this, before we everybody get to know about it, remember when their threat intel team did a lot of research. If you see from here, the first mention of Bitcoin flashing started in 2020, and it was on Nairaland. You know, Nairaland is like the open platform where a lot of Nigeria discuss a lot of things because we have a lot of forums. Now, they were able to pinpoint that people started talking about Bitcoin. Never knew that this thing was existing. People only believe on the normal transaction that users do. Now, look at the diagram they drew here. Now, the crypto trader and the service buyers. Now, the fraudsters is here, and this is the victim. Now, what it simply does is to send you a fake transaction alert that, yes, this user has been credited. Now, what happened later, it will actually be reversed after a few times, but you actually see that, yes, money actually dropped in your account, but after some time it gets reversed. Now, this affected a lot of people. It affected a lot of people. And now, and I think I have to give it up to them, and I think people should find time to read this blog post from Cyber Plural. Okay. Okay. So I think I'm back now. So
All right. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Yusuf, for that wonderful explanation that has to do with understanding measures to take for security. We really appreciate a lot that you have shared because it has shown that the issue of security is for everyone, from users to platform engineers or platforms that actually um, hold user data. They need to be security conscious. So security breaches can come from different level, which I've tried to explain that sometimes it comes from the end of the users uh, when they don't really have strong passwords. Their accounts might be hacked due to use of social engineering and what have you. Is should try to under, they should do a lot of patch security. We try and do patch security, understand how to use VAP, that's vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. Uh, Ensure they understand how to keep strong cryptographic and graphic key management. That's cryptography stuff on your side. So it's
exactly.
really important to understand that um, these levels of security need to be implemented from both users and even platforms. So as much as the blockchain is quite secure, technologies that are being built on can get exploited. And you really explained a lot. You have explained a lot, and I was able to actually see how to get that of the users because there should be responsibility for the users also. If we leave every security um, protocol or security concerns to
Okay, I think he's having some. I think he's having network challenge.
but trying to also narrow our questions a little bit down so that everybody will be carried along. Uh, Security has been, I've known you to be in security for quite some time, and you
Okay.
have advocated for users to be security conscious, which is something I applaud you a lot for. And you being able to work with financial sector have been able to give you a good understanding of how these security breaches work, the kind of complaints we get. So I want to just, in a simple term, how do you think Nigerians or users actually take security? Do you really, for the past year you have been working with users, do you really think we are taking security very serious, or just really it's all about my login details or password that I just need to be secure? Do you really see the level of security after these breaches? We have been facing a lot of breaches over the years and years, and you tell someone to change password and he's still repeating a very simple password. So do you think after all these breaches, a lot of people are taking precautionary steps to actually improve in their security? Or what have you been seeing? Are we still going bad, or there's any level of improvement? Looking that I've seen you gone to the marketplace to talk about security, you have held meetings to talk about security, you have held seminars for financial sectors to talk about security. Do you see improvement from the terms of user before we even come talk of the platforms itself?
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that question. I think that is a very beautiful question that you just asked. The truth is, with my personal engagement with market people, because I've been able to go down to the remote side to also do like security awareness. I remember some markets I went to that I have to go with translators in different local dialects, and we printed flyers in different local dialects to actually enlighten them. Now, These people are not even aware, and most of the unbanked people in Nigeria are in the villages. Now, for people in the city, not with the recent happening, they anything. I remember in the past when you tell people about multi-factor authentication, which is MFA, they don't always take it serious. But over time, with the advent of things that people are being hit by this attack, I know it's already a menace in the society because you hear a lot of Nigeria that they are saying Yahoo Yahoo boys, they are entering into people's accounts. So when you tell people now that this is what you need to do to secure accounts, you see that they want to implement it. I think a lot of us we are improving in terms of our security habit in Nigeria, but I think we can still do more. And so far so good. When a customer calls you that they have their account they have been attacked, something happened. Now at the end of the day, when the bank sits them down, you will see that the fault is not coming from the bank, but actually it's coming from you. And that is where banks is now doing more in the area of cybersecurity awareness by sending out emails, by sending out SMS to their customers that your bank will never request for any of your personal detail from you. In case you have any issue, please come to the branches. And I think our security habit is increasing as I. And one of the things I never mentioned, and I will not forgive myself if I did not mention it on this session. Now, a lot of smartphone users in Nigeria has been compromised, and they don't even know why. Because they visit websites that is not even that you know that yes, this is not legitimate. Okay, there was an issue that a guy was complaining that I think he has this feeling that somebody is using his phone with him. I was like, what do you normally do? So trying to go through his phone, I was checking his browsing history, and guess what? He uses the same phone to watch porn. And most porn website, normally you see all these ads and this thing. And the guy's phone was compromised through that particular platform. Now, a lot of people's devices has been compromised. Now, you can't blame that on the crypto exchange company's platform or the technology. Now, that is now a security issue with the user. Now, if your device is compromised, trust me, there's nothing you can do. That's why I always tell users that anytime they suspect that somebody is sharing their phone or they now have a tenant, unwanted tenant in their phone, always try to reach out to someone to help you check. And for people that depend heavily on smartphones for their transaction, I always tell them that they should invest on mobile phone security. Please get an antivirus for your mobile phone so that it can help you as well. I know there are some few endpoint security that you can get for free, but people don't even take time to make research because they feel that is a burden on them. I think Sophos has a mobile endpoint protection solution that I think you can get for free. So I would advise people to get this on. Now, there's another thing that is also common with when users devices are compromised. I know there was an issue I was discussing with a friend that is a crypto trader. Now, what this guy did was he lost about $1,000 worth of crypto. What happened was that his there's this malware that once it gets into your device, now it can identify the initial because every wallet have their initial that it can identify. Now, when you copy a trust an Ethereum wallet address from your trust wallet, now once you copy it, that particular malware know that you're transaction. Now, what it automatically switch the Ethereum wallet that you copy. Now, how do you know? I always advise that when you want to do transaction on your device, always copy your Ethereum wallet. Don't go directly to the exchange app. No. Paste it where you can see the wallet you are sending it to. Paste it somewhere. Look at it. Make sure it is your wallet. Always cross-check. Now, this friend of mine never knew that his device has been compromised. So the guy just did copy and paste, and he transferred $1,000 worth of crypto. And guess what? He lost the money. So users should always double check the wallet that they are sending to. Thank you. I hope that answer your question.
All right, so thank you for that. Really, it's awesome to understand that you just need to understand how to take these security measures personal, like how they manage their wallet, store their keys, and a lot of times, yes, truly, a lot of the securing our own side of the game well. So, but since you have been able to also work with companies, what do you think companies? Because most times a lot of people feel like, oh, these people are putting too much of restriction, they are putting too much of demand that has to do with security. So a lot of companies are trying to say, okay, we know because people don't pay too much attention to security, but we're trying to see how to make accessing the platform as easy as like some people now, I can bet you they don't even go to think of putting two-factor or Google Authenticator for some of their financial applications because if it okay the time it takes for you to log in, do this, put this pin and all those stuff. What do you think companies need to do? I know awareness is part of it, and it's one of the reasons why we bring you up on the show to actually see how you advise people to take security serious. But what other means do you feel companies will be able to actually um, take a step in making sure users need to be compliant? Yes, I've been privileged to also work with Cyber Plural on projects. And they're really doing a good job to try to see how security is brought into at least the mainstream and trying to make it cheap because most times I know companies feel cyber security or securing their assets, both digital, their computers, can be so expensive, and cyber Pro is really doing a wonder from that aspect. But how do you think companies will be able to actually boost up their security and ensure that everybody is compliant with those terms?
Okay, I think that is very good. Companies can do a little bit, they can step it further. Now, if you listen to me earlier, I said something that security and function does not always go in line with each other. That's the truth. The more security you have, the more less the less uh, people feel that there are too much restrictions. Now, I do tell people one thing: password to your personal account should be handled like your underwear. Yes, your password should be handled like underwear. Now, the truth is, the rate at which we change our underwears, if we can form the habit of changing our passwords like that, not even that frequent, but um, to a certain level, you will see that you'll be a lot more secure than what you know. Now, what can companies do now? Let me tell you, security is a personal thing. The company will try to secure the back end down to the front end and also protect the public information because I know a lot of companies are now investing, which Cyber Plural is also doing. They call it brand identity management. They can help you manage the identity of your brand on the open web and also on the dark web. Now, when they see that there is a fake page that is standing up that is claiming to be the legitimate company, what they can do is that they help you initiate takedown and they take those things down. Yes, because an unsuspecting user does not even know that yes, this is not a particular legitimate social media page of the company or this. They are investing millions of naira to even millions of dollars to get this solution to also protect the customers, and also they are investing heavily in cyber awareness for these people. I know a lot of those SMS. If it's not credit allowed, they'll just. I remember when I was broke and I was still in school. Not that I've made it right. So when I was in school, if UBA then I was using UBA while I was in school. If I see a text message from UBA and I just see that it's not credit allowed, what I just do, I just delete it directly. A lot of us still practice that. We should always take time to look at newsletters from our financial houses. Probably there is something that is being exploited. They also try to let you know. They also try to send you information awareness clip that you should watch. Look out at all these things. Make sure you are adhering to them. I think possibly that is the best way they can help. Trust me, they can't maintain your security for you. Security is a personal thing. In as much as it's being shared in that space between the financial house and the user. Financial house will do their part because I think they are being audited by third party CBN, so they are being forced to adhere to all these things. There's no way the company can force you to change your there's no way they can force you to always change on your app. There's no way they can force you to put enable MFA, but the function is already there. But they will send you newsletters, emails, SMS that you should make sure you enable those functions, because a lot of people don't like using those functions. So they always send you awareness tips to enforce them. I think in their bit, I think they are doing their best. And for me, I think that is the best they can do. Security is a personal thing. Thank you.
All right, so thank you very much for that wonderful explanation, sir. Really, you have talked a lot about security, and we have seen the importance of taking these security measures from the company's end and to users. Blockchain is really a technology that will help a lot, and we really need to understand that there is more that we need to do to it. So thank you very much, Mr. Austin. We have spent our time for the meeting today. So and we have no, I think there's no question. One was saying, what are the issues after routing attack, please? What are the issues after routing attack? We just answer that. We can't hear your mic. Your mic, sir. Please, your mic. Your mic.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Um, okay. I think that question is from Victor. And now, Victor, after a routing attack, now that is an issue with the platform owners, right? It's not the issue of the users. That's the truth. So now, if there is a vulnerability, or some people just want to make money, they don't want to invest in a very good platform. Now, if an attacker can actually come and probably route the traffic that is supposed to go to a particular server and probably route it to another place, that is a big issue. So those are the things you need to put in place, like impede validation. Is the particular web page susceptible to cross-site scripting, SQL injection? Those are the things you should check, because buffer overflow is another thing. So those are the type of attacks that is common at this routing attack level, because it will give them access to confidential information, or which I call on the blockchain technology, they call it they call it currencies. Yes, they call it currencies because information is the new oil. So they call it currency. So if they can have access to this, they can decide to do with what they want to do. Either they capture the sensitive information on that particular traffic and allow the traffic to go on and route it to go to the normal server to do its activity, or they attempt to manipulate the details of the user and pass it to the server, and they perform that particular transaction and it becomes malicious. So that is what the routing attack is.
All right. So thank you very much, Mr. Austin, for that wonderful explanation on routing attack. I guess our users have learned a lot from what I've said today. Really, I've been trying to write a lot around it, and nevertheless, we still have the video online for people that want to go and watch this video. You can share it to your friends and family. There's more to security, and we hope some other time you come also and explain a lot that has to do with security. We can't stop says. So when we understand how to secure our data and everything online, then it will help us go a long way to grow with our economy and projects that we're also working on. So thank you very much for explaining security. We are really very glad to have you on our show. Blockchain for All, as you know, is a fully sponsored event from Big Contact. and it's how to help everyone understand the importance of blockchain in our lives. And you have really done justice to the part of security. We hope security is not something is evolving, it keeps evolving because
It's
attackers never
continuous.
sleep, they keep working
Exactly.
on themselves. So we believe you will come some other time to tell us of the new tricks, what they are doing, and how we'll be able to also prevent them. So for our viewers, they are really appreciating you for the wonderful time. We had a lot of viewers from LinkedIn and YouTube also watching live. So thank you very much. Before you go, maybe if you have one or two words for our audience as a shout out before we call it a day.
Okay, before that, I know there's a giveaway. I think that's about a lot of people is also waiting for, right? So, and that has been powered by Beconta, and I'm advising everybody that I think they should try and get that particular app. Is a is a very awesome app. I've actually looked through it, and I'll highly recommend it. And now let me tell you my last word before I go is security is a personal business. Please deal with it. Treat your password like you deal with your underwears. Thank you so much for having me on this call.
All right, so thank you very much, Mr. Austin, and thank you everyone for taking our time to join us. Kindly follow us on Facebook, Big Contact HQ, and follow Jaffe Johnson also on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube to watch this video if you have missed it, and other previous videos you have recorded are already there. You join us next tomorrow for the wonderful time again we'll be having with a wonderful speaker to share more light on things that has to do with blockchain. So thank you very much and do have a wonderful night rest. Thank you, Mr. Austin.
Thank you so much for having me.